Citations. Hello to whom it may regard to watching this video in particular. I wanted to address in this video the certain contradictions and the hypocritical destructions in which certain aspects of religion and aspects of Christianity, of not so much religion in itself, it is more along the lines of the certain few handful of individuals whom abuse the authority, the spiritual authority of religion to conflict judgment and behavior of chaos into the world and upon particularly one another as human beings. And I myself, I am a theosophist. I'm a believer in the divine providence of God, of light, of inspiration, of so many different aspects of different parts borrowed from spirituality and religion and philosophy. And ultimately, Theosophy in itself is the systematic embodiment of religion, science, spirituality, and philosophy entwined as a collective coexistence together. And as I have mentioned in my prior videos of my shamanic practicing, of my study in alchemy and magic, along with the variations of many forms of philosophies in science and spirituality. And this video is not intended to degrade, put down, judge, belittle, or degrade, or otherwise for any religion or any spirituality paths that may exist or coexist in the world. This video is merely an idealism towards a natural progression of the future and the present of how we could collectively coexist and bond together without such negative human emotion of judgments or how to belittle one another. I have a dear friend of mine whom has been a friend of mine for an entire decade now. His name is Patrick Draper. He conveys the projection of his messages of inspiration and of God and enlightenment through his videos and through his social media posts that I regularly follow, because much like him and myself, we are practitioners of light, and I myself consist of a balance. I'm neither light or darkness. I'm actually a balance of both, just in between. And a balance is of how we should all as human beings collectively perceive everything. We should learn to evaluate everything in life and of human existence and of our own emotions, inwards or internally or outwards, and we should learn how to coexist within one another without judging one another, without degrading each other constantly for our differences in beliefs and differences of dogmas or creed or otherwise. And we should all come to the compromise of peaceful resolution that we are all but one and the same. And divided we fall, united we stand. And we have to find alternative ways and methods instead of people trying to find the worst in each other and to find the better half of the light that exists in each and every one of us, as well as the darkness in each and every one of us. You cannot see the light without seeing the darkness, and you cannot see the darkness without seeing the light. So it's this yin and yang Chinese, Eastern philosophy. I myself, born and raised in Japan and Tokyo, there are so many different aspects of spirituality and religions that exist. And I was getting away from the point. Patrick Draper is someone who promotes as myself, and he dresses as you would, I hate labels, honestly. The closest thing that I would describe him and I both would be Gothic, or otherwise, the better half, the terminology which I come up with is the alternative. And we dress the way we do, considering that it is a reflection not only of our internal consciousness, but it's also a derived inspiration of how we could manifest and channel that outward as well as internal to the outward of the world around us, so that we could inspire others to question everything, to celebrate the independence of art and integrity, of freedom of expression and individuality and imagination, and which ultimately, like I said in my prior video, is most vital and important and essential in today's modern structure of society, in our human coexistence. And I choose to dress the way I do because it is who I am as a human being. It is always have and always will forever be who I am as an individual. The outward appearance and the articles of clothing in which oneself wears should not underline or determine how someone's supposed to be, or how they should be, or otherwise. And as a true Christian follower, or someone who follows the path and the light, supposed to understand that you as an individual, as a human being, as a sinner, and he who is without sin to cast the first stone, and which none of us are perfect. However, you find the beauty of imperfection within everything. There's conscious energy that exists all around us, and rocks and nature and trees and water and in the microorganisms of all human molecules of life itself, of all living consciousness. And that's exactly what God is. He is all around us. And for Christian people to criticize practitioners as myself, they practice, Christians actually practice the seance as practitioners of the occult or the metaphysical, which is, as you're praying into, literally carrying your messages into the infinite space, of the cosmic universe, whether you realize it or not. And Christianity is supposed to promote the idealism, the philosophies of acceptance, of freedom, of tolerance and equality and diversity. And above all else, most important, open your mind. Open-mindedness. Allow the gateways and the airwaves of your consciousness of free to course continually through your veins and through your entire spiritual collectivism of everything that embodies who you are. And that's most important, honestly. Life is too short for all of us as human beings to judge one another, to drive ourselves to hate one another because of our differences, and it doesn't make sense at all. Instead, we're supposed to celebrate as a humanity for who we are, to celebrate our values, our integrity, and everything that it channels through us for who we are as human beings. And as a starseed light worker myself, and that's the purpose of what we create videos, to change the world around us. And ultimately, Patrick, if you find yourself watching this video, thank you for everything that you do on your behalf. I know what it feels like to be, part of the Gothic alternative culture, and to be a metalhead of all things, and to still be an individual, but still balance your walk in the light. As for myself is concerned, it's just this balance in between for me. But Patrick, I have a lot of respect for you and admiration for you. I hope to God that we meet on the same plane one day soon. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the physical reality. Knowing you, Patrick, for over an entire decade, I envision us to actually meet one day soon. And ultimately for us to spend time to hang out and conduct videos together. And there's so much to catch up on. I hope that, you know, you keep in contact more often. And especially, you know, I respect you a lot for you being proud to be who you are and not being ashamed of it, and still, you know, still walking the light. And that's exactly what the core fundamentals of Christianity, at least the hardcore Christians, to realize that we're all one and the same. We bleed the same color. And whether if you choose to accept it or not, yes, we are freaks, we are individuals, but we are human beings, and we have a consciousness, we have a heart, we have reason, we have a voice, and we are part of the subculture or culture of the underground and the alternative for a reason, specifically because we do not believe in conformity. You know, as Aleister Crowley had once mentioned, that magic is the art and science to creating causes of occurrences that change in conformity with will and imagination. So, stand proud forever for who you are as a mortal being, and accept yourselves for what and who you are, regardless. Regardless, if anybody criticizes you, judges you, says you wear black all the time, or, you know, has this falsehood of notion of misconception to believe that somehow you don't believe in a divine creator, when in all respects and regards, indeed so I do. And I will always believe in the supreme being and the infinite universe. There's so much life and species out there, so much more than what people realize. So, namaste, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share our videos with others. Namaste and infinite blessings.